To do exercise 2 from the sheet, and we'll have a quick look at exercise 3 as well. So we're presuming that you're making an annual payment, okay, over 20 years of a loan of 450,000. So that means each year, so if I just start, we have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., all the way down to 20. So each year I'm going to be repaying 1/20th of 450 grand. So it's 450,000 divided by 20. So that's how much I'll pay of the principal, and whether I do that by APR or if I do it flat, I'm still going to be paying the same amount every year. So the flat interest. So if the interest is flat, so 3% flat, that's a percentage of the original money that you borrowed. So that's a percentage of the 450 grand. So at the end of that first year, I'll pay off 22,500, and I'll pay 450 grand multiplied by 0.03, which is 3%. So my repayment for that year is going to be those two added together, 36 grand. Okay. The next year, well, I still pay a percentage, 3% of what I originally borrowed. So I'm going to pay 13,500 every year all the way through my loan. So the total amount of my interest is going to be 13,500 multiplied by 20. So that's the total amount of interest I'm going to repay back over the period of the loan. And obviously the principal here, over 20 years, I'll be repaying 22,500 by 20, which will give me 450 grand. So I'm going to repay, the total of my loan is going to be 270,000 plus 450 grand. Because I'll pay that back over the whole thing. So that's the total amount of money that I'm going to repay during my 20 years. Now, the APR. APR is a percentage of how much you owed at the beginning or throughout this particular year. So I pay 22,500 at the end of the year. So that means during the year, my interest is going to be the 450 grand, because I owed 450 grand at the beginning of the year, because I paid nothing back yet. And I multiply that by 0.042, that's 4.2% APR. So my repayment then for that year is going to be those two numbers added together. The next year, I'll repay 22,500, but during the whole of that year, I would have paid off 1/20th from the previous year. So during that year, the amount that I owe is 450 grand minus 22,500. So that's the amount that I owe. So I owed 450 at the beginning of the first year. I've paid off 22,500. So that amount, that number, I'll multiply that by the interest rate, which is 0.042 or 4.2%. So you notice that the interest has gone down. Why has the interest gone down? It's gone down because of the fact that we have paid off some of the principal. Now the next year. So the next year, again, I'll pay off 22,500. So my interest. So I have paid 2 payments of 22,500, which is 45 grand. So that means I owe 450 minus 45 grand, so I owe 405,000. I multiply that by 0.042, so that's the interest for that year. You notice the interest is going down again. So as we pay off some of the principal, the interest goes down. Now you'd have to do that for 20 years to work out the total amount of interest. And then we'll see, is the total amount of interest for APR, is that less than the total amount of interest that you would pay under a flat rate? Now for the next exercise, I'm just going to start into it, and I'll look at the flat rate. Should be straightforward enough. The only thing to bear in mind here, I'm making monthly payments. Okay, so in terms of paying off my principal, so I'm going to be paying 1,500 over 8 months. So I'll divide that by 8. So each month I'll pay 187.50. Okay, and that'll be for every single month. So we're going to pay that for month 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Okay, all the way down as far as 8. Now, if it's flat rate, my interest is going to be 1,500 multiplied by 12.2%. So it's turned that into a decimal, so it's 0.122. Okay, and because of the fact that I'm paying this monthly, that 12.2 is an annual figure, so I'll divide that by 12 to find out how much is my monthly interest. So 1525, so my repayment is going to be that. And every month I'll pay the same amount of interest. If it takes me 30 months to pay it, I'll be paying that interest every single month. If I'm going APR, well, my paying back the principal is still going to be 187.50. During the first month, I would have owed all 1,500. So my interest is going to be 1,500 multiplied by 15.6% APR. And so I'll multiply by 0.156. And we'll divide that by 12 to get the monthly figure. So my repayment here is that. The next month, I've paid off, so I'm still going to have a repayment of 187.5, which is an eighth of the original money I borrowed. But during that month, I would have only had one payment taken off, so that means I would have owed, to work out my interest, I would have owed 1,500 minus 187.5, and then I multiply that figure by 0.156. Okay, and what did I forget to do? I forgot to divide that by 12 to turn it into a monthly figure. So my repayment is going to be those two added together. Is that okay? You then work down and work out all of your repayments for all of your 8 months. I hope that makes sense.